Hey guys, so we're here with a special guest today, KP, who just finished third place at the remote regionals with Raidraptors. So huge congrats to you. What are your thoughts on this deck for this new format?
I really like the deck. I did pretty well during Goki format, and I kind of treat this deck as like another Goki. One big advantage of this deck is just that people have a hard time understanding like how to interrupt the deck. It's been around for a while. The cards have been, but the new cards just makes it really good, and it's kind of unexpected. But if you go first, you definitely win. But I also play 15 hand traps, so if I stop my opponent, I still have a chance of winning. Um, I I haven't really bricked in a long time. Like you can brick, it is possible, but for the most part, it's very consistent. You just want to get two birds on the board and then just full combo.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into the list then.
Okay, so for hand traps, three Veiler, three Droll, three Ash, and three Nib. And I might as well just go ahead and show it now. Three Imperm. In this format, board breakers from testing is not good enough. You can break the whole board of the Fire King Snake Eye, but as long as they have a loaded grave, like they're still going to be able to interrupt you maybe 2-3 times past that. And they play a lot of hand traps. So even when you break the board, it only takes them one card to full combo. So they still have Ash, Nib, Veiler, Imperm, or whatever. So board breakers just aren't good enough. You don't want to let them combo. So these are most important for that deck. And then obviously more rogue strategies or other decks that aren't that good will lose to these as well. So it's just good coverage for the meta, mainly Snake Eye. For the Raidraptors, one Painlanius, one Heal Eagle. You search them in the combos, so you don't really need to play more than that. For two ofs, two Mimicry, and one change is two Noir. I'll get into more later, but Gaurav only plays one of this, but I just think it's safe to just play two. The new change for the deck, three Raiders Wing. So I took out one Noir and fit in two extra spots. My deck list is 44, so 42 if you don't play these extra two. Um, it's okay in this deck to play over 40, just because you have a lot of search cards and things you don't really want to draw. So it kind of helps you brick less often, but it's still consistent enough to draw maybe two hand traps and two cards to play with. But this card, what it does is while it's under an XZ material, it's an XZ material. The card cannot be targeted that it's attached to, so you can basically do your whole combo without getting impermed or veilered. So it's just really strong. And also has another effect that you can detach from an XZ to specialist from your hand or grave. So it's like a pretty good extender as well. Effectively, if you just start with Raiders Knight, it basically plays around three hand traps because it stops Veiler and Imperm, but it also plays around Nibiru. So you basically beat three hand traps off of just this one card. Three Bloom is just a good extender and great follow up if your board gets broken because it can summon it in another one from your grave. Or if you're starting, you can use it from your hand to summon it in another one from your hand. Three Fuzzy. Since this is pure Raidraptor, you get to abuse Fuzzy. It's just really strong because you get to add another copy and special for free, but you're locked into Raidraptor, so that's why you got to play it only in pure. Three Strangle. It's a great extender. And then three Tribute Lanius. It's the best starter that you can have. Sometimes people even hand trap it, which if you have an extender already, it hurts them to hand trap you this early. But if this is your only play and you normal summon and they ash it or something, it could stop your whole combo. And then Samorg is also a really good extender. A couple cool things about this card is since it's a normal summon, it doesn't trigger Princess in their grave, and is also high enough attack to attack over an SP. So that kind of can come up. And then the last few cards, one Foolish Burial. This is an extender or a starter, one card full combo. So that's why you got to play that. One Roost, and then the rank ups. Not playing the Kali-Yuga build, and then the one trap. The reason why we don't play Kali-Yuga is because there's so many hand traps in this format. You can't play through hand traps as well as this build because you have to cut down. Like you don't have Fuzzy since you're going into other plays. You can play a Fuzzy build, but it still like will lose to any hand trap. But a lot of the Kali-Yuga builds will play the Phantom Knight cards and other bricks, and then it also loses to hand traps. So that's why. For the extra deck, 3 Force Strix. I like to play lowest rarity, so I'm happy I picked up the new OTS commons. Same with the other cards in my deck. 2 Raiders Knight. One is to start. If you get hand trapped to the point that you basically can't combo, let's say they hand trap you 2 or 3 times, and you just end on this, but you also have hand traps. So what you can do is you need the second copy. So if you end up nibbing or your board gets cleared and you hand trap them, but it goes back to you in simple game states, you just make the second copy to build a combo. One change I made is I'm playing 1 Baguska. It's very difficult to make in this deck because you can get locked with Darks or Raidraptors. Mainly like a combo with some more can get to it. The main reason I was playing this card is if you get shifted, you can't really do your combo. So if I was able to have a way to make a Baguska against the shifter decks like Keshtira or Flu, I was hoping that maybe it would build a stall me a turn. But it never came up. 1 Brave, the Arsenal, and then the Arc Rebellion is good because in simple game states, you can gain attack equal to all the original attacks on the field and attack over a monster for a game. I had a couple situations where I wanted to make it, but my opponent was able to stop it. A cool thing is this can't be destroyed by card effects. And then if you have Raiders wing under it, it can't be targeted. So it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. And you can basically negate everything on the board, gain attack, and just attack for game. So it's pretty good. It just didn't come up for me today. Some other cards, the bigger ones. We got the 2 towers. This is if they like Called by the Grave or Bastille, you're brave. You still want to have something to summon off the rank up, so you can use 2 4s to make this. There's also other combos where if it's an awkward hand playing through hand traps, you can make this, and then if you have a Brave engrave, you can use the Brave in this to make the Arc Rebellion because it adds up to 15. It adds up to 13 because of the 5 of the Brave Strix, and this is an 8. So that takes care of that. This is part of the combos. It's really good if you can get to this going second. Breaking through boards is if you detach from this, they can't activate cards for the rest of the turn. But also when you're going first, you make this and turn off card effects. It's really good at baiting nib because once you activate this, they have to nib there. And since this is a towers, it stays on the board. And then 2 of these, a lot of times you play both in every duel. I make one going first, and then I also make one on their turn. So you basically end on 3 towers in your combo, and it's pretty tough for most decks to deal with. Another thing is Brave makes it 5,300 attack, so then it's even bigger as a towers. And then 2 White Strix. I was playing 3 last week, but we just cut 1 for the Baguska. Gaurav was playing Evil Swarm Nightmare. I just didn't have access to it, so that's partly why I played the Baguska. I was wanting to play, and so was Gaurav, the Psyframe package of the 2 Delta, but we weren't able to get them in time for this remote regional, so I just played these. He didn't even play these at all. A cool thing with this card is against shifter decks, we don't really have a lot of protection from it, so you could side it in, and theoretically, if they shifter you and you draw it, then it's good. But it wasn't like really necessary. I didn't side it in too much. The side deck's not really necessary in this deck at all because we play 15 hand traps and full combo for going first, so we don't need cards to help us go first that much. And we can play through hand traps pretty well, but we have all the hand traps for going second. So really our side deck's more or less just for fun. Talents and thrust, they're both good for going second. A lot of times we'll side out the roost and the trap for going second. So these are like easy 2 cards we can put in. And then there's other things we take out for going first. But thrust, I do put it in going first sometimes just because you can set the trap or an imperm or something. So it's not bad because we just kind of expect we're going to get hand trapped. And if we don't, we got full combo anyway. So it doesn't matter if we have dead cards. Played 1 soul release. Gaurav was looking through like bulk at a store and he found 1, so then he just gave it to me, so it's the only copy I have, so I put it in. It was good against branded. They were going for puppet lock, but they didn't have it all set up on my turn. He did have it in the grave, and I just shotgun banished his whole grave, so he was not happy about that. One called by the grave, and 3 cross out. We can play through hand traps a lot easier, or at least more confident when we have this in our hand, so it's just nice. I don't think I ever drew it. I drew called by a few times, but there was times where I would get Ash or Valard, and I have this in my hand, and I didn't even need it. Like, I would just let it go through until a guy he double effect Valard me, and I was like, dang, I probably should have just used this on the first one, but so I ended up negating the second effect Valard. So yeah, there's those. For some back row removal, Cosmics and Feather Duster. This deck can struggle against back row decks, so that's more so why these are here, but this is also for Fire King, Banish or Field Spell. But it seems like even when I did that to them, it was still kind of tricky to break through their board. So once again, I really recommend hand traps. Breaking the board after the fact, it's just impossible, it seems like. Or like they have so much follow-up for the next turn that you still might not win. And then 3 evenly. A lot of people would scoop game 1 if I won if I went first in full combo, they'd just scoop. So what would happen is game 2 I had no idea what people were playing, and I would just kind of side more so for Fire King. And like I said, board breakers aren't as good as hand traps versus the Fire King deck. So I wouldn't side these in, and then game 2 it would be like a different deck than I expected, like Voiceless or something. And I was like, maybe it would have been better if I had these. So there's just situations like that. I think I won 3 die rolls, which for me is usually more than often. I only win like 1 or 2. So winning 3, it was nice, those games going first. But like I said, they'd usually scoop game 1. We'd go to game 2, and I have no idea what they're playing and just do the best I could. But other than that, the side deck is more or less just there. It's not too important. I'll probably be working more on it for future events.
Awesome.
But
Well,
I think that's pretty much it.
yeah, thank you so much again for the deck profile. Really appreciate the insight. I guess any last words before we end the call?
Big shout out to Gaurav. We've been working on this deck for months, and we've been doing really well. Last weekend, I had a bad showing. He got 13th. One loss was to the mirror match. So it was like a decent showing, but then this week we did a lot better. We had to play each other first round, and that was his only loss was to me. But I ended up losing to Voiceless, but it was a good showing for me. So, and I'm just happy that we're both doing good with the deck. Shout out to Team PCD, all the guys on the team. Shout out to Javi. He helped me get all the cards day 1 for me and Gaurav. He pulled 2 playsets of everything in his case, so we got lucky there. Shout out to James. He's been really asking me a lot about the deck. We've been kind of talking about it, and he really liked one change we made in this deck for this event that we made different from last event. Shout out to Brooke, my wife. We've been married for about, 5 months now. So shout out to that. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you.